Good. Did you get the notification? It didn't talk to me, which is very strange. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the first, let's say we're going to do 5 minutes. I'll start the timer. Everybody should have some type of list. Whether or not you've reached out to them or not is irrelevant, but everybody should have some type of list. If you don't, your 5 minutes is spent working on a list. You have to have a list to work off of. Like, not having a list of people that you would love to be a partner in business with is kind of like being in business and not having a goal. It's the same thing. So if you have your list, which I hope you do, what I want you to do for 5 minutes, I want you to personally seek them out on social media, and I want you to interact with them like truly genuine. Like, if they posted a picture of their kids or their dog or like something, just connect with them. And what this does is it's going to say, oh, so-and-so likes seeing so-and-so's content, and it's going to like start pushing content. But the real magic happens is if you really word it beautifully with whatever you're saying and they respond, then Facebook's like, oh, so-and-so likes so-and-so, we're going to show them their content. And so what happens is your list of people might end up reaching out to you, which how awesome would that be? But it doesn't happen unless these like interactions are happening. This is called relationship building at its finest. So I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to share the screen, but you guys get to work like 5 minutes. That like solid. Don't get distracted. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 5 minutes, is just purely interacting with the people that are on our list. Don't scroll. Go to their profile directly. Okay.
No ADD moments.
Right.
Just moments.
Exactly. All right. Sorry, I'm going to get the clock up in a second. I'm just admitting people are popping in. And I will, for those that are popping in now, just give me a minute and I'll fill you in on what the first task is. I just want to try to get this timer up and running for everybody. And I've never done this before. So, all right. Aha, there you go. All right. So for those of you who know what you're doing, you can turn off volume if I'm distracting, but I just want to fill people in as they're popping in for the first 5 minutes. You are reaching out to people on your list in the world of like their profile. You're going to their profile. I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook, honestly, whatever you're most comfortable with, and just interact with them. Find their most recent post. This is Monday morning. They probably posted something they did this weekend if they're active on social media. Just go comment on it. A comment, just so you guys know, is 5 words, not like love with a little heart, like a sentence. Genuine, mean it, don't make it generic, make it really personable. Okay. And I get to do it too.
Is it beneficial to look through people's stories and comment on those also, or just Facebook posts?
No, anything that they've put up. Yeah. Like just interacting with them. Because what it's going to do, it's literally going to cause over time. It doesn't happen necessarily in one day, but if you do it consistently, Facebook's going to start pushing out your content to them. Or they might just be nosy and click on your profile too. Yeah. fastest 5 minutes ever, right? I feel like we could have done that for 10. I feel like when we do that one again, we probably should do it for 10 minutes. I don't know how many people you guys had a chance to comment on. Who wants to say how many did you get a chance to do?
I did 7.
That's great. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think that it would be great. And I'm so sorry, you guys, the people that were waiting to get admitted, it wasn't popping up for me. You're heading in here now. I apologize for that. I thought I had everybody in and it just wasn't popping up on my screen. I'm so sorry. You only missed the first task though, so it's fine. Okay. So who here is intimidated by stories? Anybody? Freak you
I'm
out?
just trying to do them.
Okay. Okay.
A little bit me, yeah.
Okay.
I've tried a couple, but they look dumb.
It's it is okay. You guys, I'm here to tell you I am no expert with it. People have been telling me to do stories for years. Like I was still in LuLaRoe when people were like really harping on me, like, Allie, you have got to start doing stories. And I'm like, one more thing, like, good gracious. And when I did it before, I never really noticed any benefit. But for whatever reason, I do hear people have reached out to me because of what I put in my stories. And here's the great part. You do not have to be a story expert here because there are a lot of people that are really good at it. And what's nice is you can like reuse that content. The only thing that like people are sticklers about is like give credit where credit's due. So like if it was something that they created, I tag them. And then I reshare the same thing. So for the next, we are going to do this for 10 minutes. And the reason why is, well, first of all, I can't get this whole countdown clock to like clear, but it'll be 10 minutes. I'll have to figure that out while you guys get started. It is probably like the single most important thing that you do in your day is making sure your stories are full. And it should be a mix. It should be like funny stuff, personal stuff, and business stuff. It shouldn't just be Q Science stuff. If you need some accounts to follow to get inspiration for stories, I am going to put the accounts that I follow in the chat while you guys start working on this. So you can get that inspiration of some people who do it really, really well. But first, I want to see if I can get this clock functioning again. I don't
Could you give me like a quick sample of what you would say?
Stories are supposed to like, they're visual. They're supposed to attract attention. So it's not necessarily saying something like this is like one of the best spaces to share product information. You don't put product information on your news feed so much, but it's a total appropriate place to put it is in stories. So, I mean, I have posted about like how much I love the calm, and then I've done like a poll and like who wants more information sort of thing on the story itself. If you are totally like, you're out of your element, you can spend the next 10 minutes looking at the accounts that I mentioned, because like people you just might not know at all. And that's okay. We can get a training lined up to help you with stories. But I think if you see some accounts that are doing it right, it's going to help so much. So let me figure out how to get the chat up while I'm sharing screen. Good gracious. There it is. Okay. I see it. Let me get out my phone and I will start These are Instagram accounts that I'm going to have you put up. Is anybody like needing this that doesn't have Instagram? That's a question that I have for you. No?
Oh,
Good.
I've never used Instagram.
Okay. All right. Then
But I thought you were talking Facebook stories.
Well, here's the nice part. They carry over. So for those of you who are you're good and just get to work, and you can mute me for right now, I'll talk about this for a minute. If you link your Instagram to your Facebook, which it's very easy to do, it literally is post once, but it happens in 2 places. It's cutting your work in half. Okay.
Oh,
It's that. So a lot of us post to Instagram and then it just automatically comes on over to Facebook. We're not posting in 2 places. We're not doing double work, but you start it on Instagram. I don't know if the capability is there yet for you to do it on Facebook and have it go to Instagram. I don't know if it goes both ways. Okay, but you definitely, I know, because I do it all the time, you can post it to Instagram and have it carry on over to Facebook. It's just a matter of linking the accounts, and that's done in your Instagram settings. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It doesn't go both ways, Ally. It only goes Instagram to
Instagram.
Facebook.
Okay. Awesome.
But also, if you guys don't have an Instagram, I wouldn't worry about getting an Instagram in order to do stories. Just start doing your stories on Facebook.
The only reason I would even suggest it is because it's easy to search out other Q Science people on Instagram to observe. I wouldn't worry about necessarily trying to build some following in order to do this business, but I find it just an easier search tool unless somebody can teach us like how to do it on Facebook. But that's kind of how I have found people. Does that make sense? Like to get my inspiration for my stories.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. 100%. I like to look at what people are doing on Instagram, but that doesn't, like, I'm not good at Instagram at all yet, just full honesty. So I watch people on Instagram, but I don't utilize the social media platform as much as I should.
And I mean, I have an Instagram account from my LuLaRoe days, you guys, but it's pretty dead in the world of social media because the majority of the people that followed me were LuLaRoe retailers, and most of them at this point have quit. So the majority of my following probably doesn't even like use those Instagram accounts anymore. So I mean, I still use my Instagram because I already had it, but all my stuff still does come from Facebook. But it really is a great tool to search out for content purposes. And I'm so sorry, my phone is dead and I had it charging and realized the reason why it's not charging is it's not plugged in. So just give me a minute and I will get that going for you guys. If you're looking for people on Facebook to follow that do really good stories, Jamie Howell, she's our upline Ruby. If you're friends with her on Facebook or if you follow her, you could get some ideas just by looking at her Facebook. Jenna does really great Instagram stories as well. But I'm going to pull up some other people that are in like sideline teams to try to help you out too. That says I post mine on Facebook and it goes to Instagram. See, I think it's a new feature. Just so you guys know, I think it's something new that's happening. Enough.
I do have a question, Ally.
Yep.
I have difficulty deciding what to post to stories and what to post to like just like my regular wall. You know, I mean, and I think I'm on the understanding that not people check both. So it's kind of okay to kind of put the same kind of stuff. Is that right?
I try to keep product in stories and pretty much never on my wall because I don't want my wall to look like salesy. I definitely do more opportunity posts, like really well worded, like peak posts on my wall. And then like I let the rest go to stories. Does that make sense? Like that's what I personally do. I know that there's a lot of people that do it differently, but that's just kind of what I have observed. Another thing for stories, testimonies, you guys. I follow a lady on Instagram. She doesn't sell Q Sciences, but she does sell, who's heard of TRS? It's a toxic removal spray. It's an interesting company. It's like pretty much all they sell. They sell like that and one other thing, but the stuff really works. My family and I have used it for a year now and we love it. But anyway, she doesn't ever post about TRS in her grid on Instagram or on her page on Facebook, but she loads information about the product in her stories. And then after she's talked about the product, like the benefits of it, what it does for your body, she'll follow up with like 10 plus testimonies to validate what she just talked about. So if you see like a testimony, like share it. And I mean, if it's put in the community group, that is for everybody to use. You know, so you could take a testimony that you saw in the community group and screenshot it and crop it and put it into your story. After you've talked about Calm, you could go search out testimonies for Calm and then fill your stories up with that. Getting you guys more accounts. Jackie is under Jenna. I met her in Utah, and she has pretty much never posted about Q Sciences on her wall at all. Like, it's all stories for her, and she's a gold. So if you ever want to like take a look at somebody, like if you go to her Facebook profile, I don't know if like she accepts like all friend requests or not, but you guys, she almost never has posted. Like, she very rarely posts on Facebook just in general. It's all stories. And she doesn't have a massive Instagram following either. The other thing that you will see is people kind of have like a niche with some of the other things they talk about in stories. This person, Amber Manning, I think she's in Jenna's line as well. She talks about like some controversial stuff in her stories, but that's just something that she's passionate about. And then like people follow her for some of the content that she puts up in regards to those other things. And then they end up inquiring about like Q Sciences too. Not saying to be controversial. I'm just saying there's different ways to go about it. Yes, I like that tip that you have to keep it intentional, and you do have to switch it up. And like what you'll see if you get consistent with your stories is all of a sudden like the amount of, it tells you like the views that you have. I believe it even on Facebook tells you who's looked at. Yeah, it tells you who's seen it too. So then it kind of gets into, well, if you had somebody interact with your story a lot recently, you could actually like use that as like your excuse to reach out to them too. Yes, you may get a lot of oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click the poll too. I really like call BS on that. I'm like, I have never accidentally answered somebody's poll before ever, but Jody's right. Like I have had somebody say, oops, whatever, it's fine. If you do a poll though, make sure you remember you did it, because you need to see who's responded to your poll, and you don't want your story to have expired and then not gone back. So fun tip. All right. Oh my goodness. Like when you get to work, how fast that went. Wow. Okay. That was a fast 10 minutes too.
This is going to be the fastest hour ever.
Right. I know. All right. So now your stories are like, hopefully you got a few in there for today. All right. How many did you guys end up loading up? It's okay if it's only like one or two. Okay. 3. Okay. There's something in there. Try to get like some, the idea it like, so here's the thing, in case you're not aware, like the most current posted story shows up in like the bubbles first. So here, like if this, can you guys see? Yeah, there's the bubbles up top. The person who's loaded a story most recently is first. So like you guys just did this. And so it's going to be like closer to the beginning of the bubbles for the people who follow you. But as minutes and hours and the day goes by, it gets further and further back. So if you then post another story later today, it'll bump that up again. So this is a like little pro tip. When you're doing this, be really intentional because those bubbles, like you can kind of see like something. If it's eye catching, it causes people to like want to click on it. So like a really good image, or like I have one girl that I'm friends with, like she posts something where like you're like, what the heck is that? Like it looks like scandalous. And then you click on it and it's just something really, really funny, but it's like, haha, got you into my stories, because once they're in your stories, they continue to tap through them. It's literally a trick, like get them in your stories and they will probably tap right through until they're done. It's a fun trick to have. So just, you'll get some ideas as you go, just follow different people and you'll kind of see how they do it. Oh, it's okay. Hey, if you literally were just trying to find people, that is fine. Like, and I'll try to get you guys some more accounts to follow. They're just the ones that I like tend to tune into the most to get some ideas. Okay, so now let's prep for tomorrow. What's nice is like you can prep stories. Did you guys know that? So you can literally like figure out like what you want it to look like and everything, and you can save the image. And if that's too advanced, if you're like, oh my gosh, I literally do not know what you're talking about right now, just think about let's pick a product to post later today. Your favorite product. I want you to grab some images, some pretty ones of the product. Like if you want to choose like a twist or like the sport, if just go on Instagram, go on Google, grab like some pretty images of it. I want to do a thing like what I just told you about, where we have some info on the product, like a couple stories worth, like maybe like some pictures and then some info following. And then I want you to go into the community group and I want you to type in, search that product. And I want you to snag some testimonials. And that way you're going to have some product stories for later today. And then you're going to have some testimonials to follow it up with. Okay. But I want you to like go in and grab the content now so that you have it like ready to load into your stories this afternoon. Okay. All right. And we'll make it a solid 10 minutes because this is going to take you guys a little bit. Just one product. I'm not asking you to have like prep out 5 of them, but just focus on one. I guess I need to like refresh the page every single time for this timer. I need to find another timer, basically. Is this helpful so far, you guys? Yeah, I'm seeing heads shaking.
I literally just signed up on Saturday, so I haven't gotten anything yet or tried anything yet. So I put up a post earlier I did it last night, talking about sleep and how many hours of sleep everybody gets so that they get commenting on it and stuff like that. And then I plan on responding to everybody with like stuff about the rest and the sleep spray. Is
Okay.
that
Yeah.
like,
So,
or do you have a different suggestion since I haven't tried anything yet?
I do. So for those of you that like the chitter chatter is distracting, just mute me for right now. That way you can focus on what you're doing, because I want to speak to this. So what a lot of people don't realize is like our community group is so insanely powerful. I like to say that it is third-party validation on steroids, because third-party validation is where you connect them with somebody else that validates what you're already saying. Except the community group is connecting them with like hundreds of people that are saying what you're saying. So when you have a post that leads with the product, instead of you trying to educate them on rest and sleep spray, say that you just jumped into this new project. And one of the things that we have that are helping a ton of people is our products that help with sleep. And you have read so many testimonials over the last couple of days of people who have been like life changed over these 2 products. Would it be okay if you added them to a Facebook group so that you could tag them in those testimonials? That's what you should do when you have a situation where you're educating on the product. The other thing that you can do, and I love so much that you brought this up, is educate people on some of this stuff. Like educate people on how many people struggle with sleep. Like literally you could do a bunch of stories educating people about like just the percentage of the population that struggles with sleep. Like become like a little expert for a day. Go on to Google for like 15 minutes, read up, educate yourself, and then just put the information you just learned into your stories and be like an educational source on that topic for the day. And then you hit them with, and I have something that can help with that. So like you've educated them on like these nuggets of information in the world of sleep, maybe like spouted out some statistics about sleep, and then you can start talking about the products, and then you can start talking about the testimonials that you found too. But really, you guys utilize that community group every day. Do not just utilize it. Katie talked about this last night. This should be something where if you have somebody that is interested in the products, you are sending them there. Do not try to be the product expert, because them seeing loads of testimonials is going to go so much further than you trying to talk to them about these products that you just recently found and that you love. Okay. Was that helpful?
Absolutely. I am not like a pro at stories, but I'm certainly going to start working on that today. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're
thank
not
you
a
for the
pro-
suggestion.
Yeah, no, if you're not a pro, just take a few days and watch how some other people do it. And I'm going to continue to try to drop some accounts in there too for you guys. Okay.
So I need to find out if, I don't know if you can look on my Instagram and to see if it's like appropriate, because I put some things up there that I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Okay.
Can I send it?
If you want to give me your Instagram, that's fine. But what type of stuff?
I just started it, so it's nothing huge. I put, let me go back. I just made them yesterday. I tried to do loops, or the reels rather, and put Q Sciences in them, which I didn't know that we weren't supposed to do that. And I put that in the bio.
What do you mean you're not? What do you mean you're not supposed to put Q Sciences in them?
I thought Brianna said not to put Q Sciences, our
Like the company name?
yes, not the company name, the web address.
Oh, yeah, you
I
never,
put
ever,
that.
ever, you don't want to put your link out there. And the reason why, if they get into your link, they're going to see vitamins for $135 and go, no, like
Okay.
totally, you know what I mean? You
Right.
have to build the value with the product first. I never give my link, not like if the person says, yay, I'm ready, I still don't give my link. I literally help them pick their product first. And then when we have decided on product, then I'm like, okay, here is my link. And this is what you click. And this is what you add to your cart. And this is how you check out. I hold their hand, and like it really, it goes so much further, because
Okay.
like if they get in there and they get the slightest bit confused, what's going to happen is they're going to go, oh, I don't even understand what I'm doing. I'll worry about it later. Like you have to handhold. Thank goodness we're getting a new website that's supposedly insanely user friendly by September. But between now and then, like that's how I handle that. So yeah, just if you have your link anywhere, take it out. Take it.
Okay.
Tanya says, you copy the entire message. So you can screenshot it and crop it, or you can copy it and paste it into a story. I've done both. The other fun way to do a story, speaking of cropping, if you see a post written by like a top leader that is just so well done, like I've done this with Brittany Hitch and Francesca Fields recently, I will screenshot the picture and crop it, and then I'll screenshot the words part of the post and crop it. And then I'll put both of those images kind of like cute in a story. And I'll like with like a blinky arrow, like you guys have to read this, and just like blinky pointy. Instead of sending them to Fran's account to hopefully read it, I'd like screenshotting it and just putting it in the story for people to read right in my story is something that I've done recently too. Oh, men's links. Let's see. I don't know if I follow Brandon yet. Okay. I don't know how into stories he is. Yeah, he does them. Okay, hang on. So Brandon Stevens, if you guys don't know, Brandon is the top of our top guy. Like he's all the way up at, like he's direct to corporate.
Now I have a quick question.
Yeah.
On I use a sleep spray. All right, that's what Debbie Crazeman introduced me to.
Uh-huh.
And on it, like I see where you guys promote, like give it to your kids, you'll finally, get your kids to sleep. But on it, it says don't give to anyone 18 years or younger.
You just have to ask like the pediatrician. Like that's really, they're just covering their butt.
Right, that's what I figured. I gave some to my 6-year-old granddaughter. I gave her 2 little squirts, to test it out. But I just like if someone has young kids and they ask me about it, they're like, "Hey, whoa, it says, what should I tell them?" Just ask them and say, "We'll talk to your pediatrician about it."
Yeah, exactly.
It's all natural, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the ingredients are right there on the product fact sheet. And I would just say, listen, like I know a ton of people who use this for their kids, including special needs kids. But of course, check with your pediatrician. Like,
okay.
They are never going to like say like safe for children. Like it is insanely difficult for it. Like it has to be a kid's specific product for them to like say it on the label. But
right.
Because I check with the pediatrician. I even know people like their kids actually hate the taste of our kids core. So they buy the Q Max, which is a capsule, and they just open the capsule and mix it in yogurt.
Oh.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And that Katie Myers does that for her son, I believe. So yeah. So yeah, it's just a matter, like just again, always consult your doctor. We're not medical experts, and that's just, but we have a ton of testimonials of people using it with their kids and they love it. But of course, check with your doctor. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. That timer is clicking down. Good gracious. All right. 10 minutes. Wow. Okay. Now we have amazing call lineups, you guys. And we have, over the last 2 weeks, we finally got ourselves in a groove. It took us a while to get to this point, but we realized, Katie and I and Bree, that one of the reasons why Jenna's calls, she's our upline diamond, by the way. Jenna hit diamond in 4 months. So freaking crazy and amazing. The reason why her calls are always so full is because her entire line, including us, knows that 8:30 Eastern, 7 days a week on the same link, there is going to be a call. So you by all means can still tap people into that, like they happen. And what we decided to do 8 o'clock because it's like a half hour before 8:30. And if you wanted to still use the 8:30, you can, obviously, but I really want to encourage you to first and foremost use the calls that Katie is running, because edification of leaders that they are actually going to have a connection with matters. Okay. Jenna's awesome. Her story is amazing, but the odds of somebody coming in and getting like directly coached by Jenna, like my goodness, her team is huge, versus edifying Katie or Bree or myself and knowing that like we are going to be helping like the new people coming in. Like you just don't just edify what we've been able to accomplish in a short period of time, but you're also able to say that they're going to be able to help you too, just like they've helped me. And so the 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week is our call for Katie's line. You have guaranteed, like the same link that you use to get into here is the link for that call. And 8 o'clock Eastern, you can plug people into that. Katie is always going to be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. And then like, I think Bree's taking 2 or 3 days. I'm taking 2 or 3 days. And then like the rest we're like filling in with some other leaders. So we really want you guys to get in the habit of inviting. And there's a lot of people watching right now on this. I can't possibly like say exactly what you should say to somebody that you want to invite to a call. However, Brooke, she's a leader, I think in Fran's line somewhere, and she uses this wording all the time. So I'm saying that we should give it a shot. So I put it in the chat, change it and personalize it. I used myself as an example. However, change it for whoever you are edifying. Okay. I need to admit somebody and I can't. There we go. There we go. It wasn't working. Take a look at this, but this is working for her line. Obviously, don't copy and paste it. She wants us voice messaging, which I know is so hard for some of us. So here's what I have to say in the world of sending voice memos. If you are capable of not sounding like you're reading a teleprompter, and if you are capable of sounding excited versus insanely nervous and not confident, you need to be voice messaging. If you're not sure, what I would love for you to spend the next 10 minutes doing is sending a practice voice message to your leader. Okay. So if you're like, I know I'm going to mess this up, we want you to practice. And here's the thing. If you don't practice voice messaging, your leader will never be able to coach you through it. So like literally send them like 5 to 10 practice ones. But if you're seasoned and you're good with that, look at this template. Make sure you're like really personalizing it, adding in like why you thought of them and switching out like the leader information that you're edifying, but use this template to try to get people to the call tonight. And I am going to set this one for 15 minutes because obviously this is going to take a little bit of time if you want to invite a couple people. And again, let's get practicing. If you haven't practiced yet, that is what you should be doing right now. You should be practicing. And I'm just telling you right now, don't be embarrassed. We all sounded terrible our first couple times, but it's better for you to sound terrible to your leader and just completely embarrassed than to sound terrible to somebody that you really want to work with as a business partner. Okay. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it works. But it only works if you get the practices out and you sound confident in your delivery. Just remember, if you want people to be with you on your team and trust you, you need to be the leader that they want to follow. I cannot stress that enough. And if you don't sound confident, that's definitely not a leader that they would want to follow. And that's why the practice is so incredibly important. Yeah, practice them now. Send them right to your leader. Literally just be like, hey, I'm on this power hour. And this girl, Allie, wants us practicing voice memos and you're going to get blown up here. And if your leader is new too, or if they also struggle, like not everybody's good at this, ask for like help from somebody who is good that's in your line. Okay. So like you can hold the message and forward it to somebody else. If they're like, I don't know, I'm not good at this either. That's okay. Like we all have to work on it. So just get it to somebody who can give you some like good, solid feedback and be very coachable with it. Okay. Yes. You invite people by voice message to op calls. Absolutely, Michaela. Yeah. That's how, like, literally it's how we do it here. The voice, if you're excited, remember, if you are excited and it's really genuine and you have like a real genuine reason on why you thought of them and you're like, listen, like you have to come check this out. Like it's not going to be long. It's going to be worth your time, but I thought of you because of blah, 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 blah. It's genuine. But the reason why the voice memos are important is they can hear the sincerity in your voice if you have a confident delivery with it. Okay. Josephine, it's up to you. If you haven't practiced voice messaging, I honestly would like pause what you're doing with the Instagram and I would just send it. Really, it's like ripping off the Band-Aid. So I would say like send a couple practice voice messages. Yeah. Remember, I see that, Michaela, that you have an app that allows you to record a longer one. We still like short and sweet. The other thing too, this is kind of like a pro tip, and I know that it's been mentioned a couple times, but what I do personally before sending a voice message to somebody, I message them first and I say, hey, there's something I want to chat with you about. Do you have a minute? Or there's something I wanted to ask you. Do you have a minute? And then when they respond to you, then you voice message them. And if you do it that way, there's a really good chance that they're not going to ghost you, because that would kind of be rude. They've already said like, yeah, hey, what's up? And then you like do your spiel, and then like the odds of them completely ignoring you are much smaller if you get their attention first. So that's just something that I have learned. And if it's somebody that honestly, like you have a relationship with, I did this yesterday. I messaged her and I'm like, hey, like, I know it's Sunday. I know you go to church. You might even be at church right now, but there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Let me know when you're free. And she got back to me like in 5 minutes and she's like, yeah, hey, what's up? And I said, can I call you? And she was like, sure. I'm just sitting in my daughter's room, making sure she cleans it. And I actually called her, but I have that relationship with her. This is not something that I would say for you to do with anybody. But what I say to people is do it however it's natural. Like if you naturally would pick up the phone with this person, pick up the phone. But if you naturally would be more in like a text situation, a text or a voice message would be more appropriate. And Kelly, what I said to her, like I'm just telling you this because you're gonna laugh. Like it was pretty ballsy, but I knew this person and I knew like her and I were both kind of burned in a past company. And so like when she answered the phone, like we just caught up for a few minutes. Like it was very natural. It wasn't weird. Like she was probably wondering what I wanted to talk about, but still like we were catching up. She lives in Florida. I'm moving back to Florida. So we kind of like we're shooting the breeze for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, listen, that's not why I called. Although like, I'm so excited to catch up and I'm excited to see you again when we get moved. But like, I did want to talk to you about something. And I literally said, wait till you guys hear this, you're going to die. I'm like, are you in or are you out with network marketing? And she's like, Allie, like, she's like, we've been through so much. She's like, and I'm like, I know. I'm like, forget that. Like, are you in or are you out? Like, if it was the right thing, would you be in? And she said, what do you got? Guess who signed up this morning? Ballsy works when it's confident delivery. Kelly, I knew you would like that. You're ballsy like me sometimes too. But that takes time. Like that's a pro move. And I mean, I've only been here since March, but I could never have done that. Let me be quite clear, in like March or April. It's something I can do now. So like, I'm not saying like you just signed up and to say somebody, are you in or are you out? But you know, like she knows that I've had success because she's seen it. So that like, that's what caused her to listen. And it was hilarious. Like I said that to her and she's like squirming, and her daughter, who's 14, was like, Mom, just do it. I'm like, yes. Kelly, where are we moving to? Oh Lordy. We're selling our condo in Kissimmee. We bought it like when we were just young and dumb, and we're finally able to sell it for a profit. It's going on the market like this week. My husband just flew down there, but we're going to wait to buy a house until like the market chills out, because I'm not about to pay over asking price just because the economy's nuts. So we bought a destination camper and we are going to be living in it on Lake Okeechobee until we buy a house. That's what we're doing. Oh, Katie's piping up. That's why she got to meet my husband before she ever met me. She got to meet my husband and son this past weekend. It's kind of funny. Yeah, Lori, I can do that for you, friend. Josephine, see what I had wrote above. I see your practice, but it really practice the voice memo. Don't practice the typing, but you're missing one of the most important steps, and everybody can get something out of this. You didn't edify your leader. Edifying the leader is literally what the most important step and what a lot of people don't do. Because you're just getting into this. You just admitted that you're no expert. So why should they trust you? But edifying your leader and saying, listen, I have this incredible mentor, not upline, not leader, not sponsor. They are on my no list. Like literally get it out of your vocabulary. And it's not that there's anything wrong with those terms other than the fact that they cause people to put up an instant wall. Like, and you'll never get the wall to break down. They're like buzzwords that you don't want to use. But I have this amazing mentor and friend who has helped me secure, or is helping me secure, a residual income. What she's been able to accomplish in just a couple months, it like truly would blow your mind. But it's not just her. She's helping dozens of other people do it too. And I really want you to meet her. You have to hear her story. She's speaking tonight at 8 p.m. Can you come? Totally different than I'm just 3 weeks in on this new journey and I want you to come check it out. And I'm excited about it. It's totally different. Like it is a block that people just struggle to get past. But I promise you, if you start to edify early on, here's what this just did. But what I just said, if they come, they already have a certain level of trust with Katie, who's doing the call tonight, because you just edified the snot out of her. They're like, wow, like my friend really thinks highly of this person, and this person is directly helping my friend. And this person has accomplished really great things in a really short period of time. It's a subconscious thing, but you've started to form a trust bubble between your prospect and your leader without them knowing it. It's psychological. So then when they hear Katie and she's a dynamic speaker and they hear how amazing everything is here, there's a better chance if they've shown up to the call and they've listened to the whole thing, there's a better chance that they are going to be willing to have you connect them with Katie, because you're going to immediately follow up and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, wasn't Katie's story amazing? I'm blown away every time. I've heard it so many times and every time I learn something new. But I was telling her about you because fill in the blank, you got to get creative here, but you can come up with something. But I was telling her about you because I know you're trying to save for a house and you guys really, really, really need to move. And this would be so incredible for you. And I know that she could help you, or like something. You have to think of something personal there. But I was telling her about you because, and she is really busy, but she wants to meet you. Could I add her to this chat? And that is how you get people from the call into a three-way conversation with a leader the same night. And it's important. And you never, let me just like, I went like this, hands up. I solemnly swear right now, I solemnly swear that I am never going to follow up and say, do you have any questions? I promise you, it is the worst thing that you can say, because even if they have questions, they are never going to admit it to you with you asking it in that way, ever. Okay. You have to do it the other way. You have to do the edification. It's so, so important. And once you get good at this, you'll see it work. And thank God it's not a talent, you guys. It is a skill that can be learned. Okay. So if you suck at it right now, I'm here to tell you with practice, you can get better. And I have plenty of stories in my team to give you examples of people who really were bad in the beginning. And I was too. And I got better with time. But the people that get better with time are the people that don't quit and they don't give up and they keep pushing through. Like Katie will be the first to tell you, I don't know if she's still watching. She messed up so many like spiels with people, like so many messages she messed up, but you didn't stop her. Like, look where she is now. You know, like, of course we really would love to like have not messed up because we could have had even bigger teams and been even further along, but it's like, it's a learning process. This is about personal development and we get good at it over time. Okay. So we only literally have like 3 minutes left. I'm not even going to start the timer. I'll stop the share. I want you guys to write a goal for yourself. I just gave you some like really solid IPAs. And here's the thing. These things you should be doing every single day. Carve out time. It doesn't have to be an hour, but carve out time every single day to do these nuggets. And we're going to continue to do these calls. And sometimes we might repeat a task and other times we're going to be doing new tasks. Okay. But write down a goal for tomorrow of how many stories you want to get up, of how many people you want to connect with. If you guys missed the beginning, that was probably hands down the most important task in this entire power hour. The first task, if you missed it, I'm going to repeat it. You all should have a list. If you don't, it's kind of like having a dream without a goal in mind. Like, you have to write it down. You have to write the goal down. If you want to work with people, you have to have a list of people you want to work with. That is part of this. And some people really struggle to write down that list. Writing the list is scary for some people, but I'm telling you, if you don't write it down, you're never going to get anybody on that list of yours. So write it down. But the task in the beginning was purposefully going to their social media account, these people on your list, and interacting with their social media account. If there is one thing that we did today that you should be doing every day, and let it be the first thing you do in the morning before you even get out of bed, is going purposefully to their account and interacting with it. Meaning like genuinely, like they've posted a picture of their kids, their dog, what they cooked for dinner, what they did this weekend, whatever, genuine connection. Hopefully you word it in a way that triggers them to respond to you. And this is where the magic happens, because if they respond to you, Facebook is like, oh, they like each other. Let me show them each other's content. And so as you start to get in a really good habit of putting things in your stories and talking about what you have going on, they might watch, and they might watch for a little while. And then they might ask you. And how cool would it be to have somebody who's on your list ask you what you're doing instead of you having to reach out to them? That is the power in this, but it's never going to happen if you're not purposefully seeking them out. So I actually try to never just mindlessly scroll anymore. That is a time suck if there ever was one. You have a list. Those are the people that you should be interacting with on social media. Try to avoid the scrolling. You need to, if you have a team, try to purposefully go to your team's social medias as well. That way you're going to see their stuff too. But like, try not to have like the endless scrolling be part of your day, because it's not going to make you any money. Like at the end of the day, that's what this is about. It's about a residual income, and the mindless scrolling and hitting hearts and things like that. It's not going to make you any money versus being purposeful with your interacting on social media will. All right. So I word vomit, but I'm still here. Oh my gosh. Like we all word vomited, all of us. Like, trust me, I did too. And I also thought, this was my huge mistake in the beginning. I had a really successful first post, and you guys know my camper story. I was in the camper. Most of you know anyway, but if you don't, 3-month road trip is when I started this Q Science business. And we were busy the day that I started, and I had all these people, and I felt so much pressure to get them on that night's op call that I sent the same message to all of them. And here in my mind, I thought it was okay, because I'm like, they asked on my post, a blanket statement's okay. It's not okay. It didn't work. I should have had so much more success from that first post of mine, but I didn't. I had like 2 people sign up out of like 80 inquiries. And it's because of my blanket statement. Now, like hindsight, I don't know how I could have done it different, because that season of my life, it was just crazy. And like, I don't know how I could have possibly gotten to all of them. But I could have, if I would have delayed like getting them to a call, or I had my own call. So like, just please, even if they inquire on your stuff, personalize it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you reached out. I was actually thinking of you. And then like go into the spiel. Okay. Shouldn't you help boost your team's post? Honestly, I've heard both ways. Like, I'm going to let you guys like, let that be up to you. I've heard from like algorithm perspective, like it can help or hurt. And I don't want to be an expert with that. Like whenever I see my team's things, I try to comment on it. Yes, I do. But I've heard an opinion the other way as well. However, let me just say, I see the top leaders doing it. Like the top leaders, Fran, Brittany, Jenna, like they all do comment on their team's posts to try to help them. And I'm like, if they do it, it can't be a bad thing. I've just kind of read both ways. So I'll let that be up to you guys, but the top leaders do it. So I'm going to say, yeah, it's probably a good idea. Yeah. All right. I don't think I missed any more comments, and it's been an hour, you guys. I'm so proud of you for those who like got to work. And if this was like overwhelming for you, like just keep coming. It's going to get easier. I already see that we need a training on stories, and I'm going to see if we can arrange one for hopefully maybe this week for those who need it, because I know that some need it, and that's totally okay. But here's the thing. Be a learn it all. Go on YouTube. That's what I do. I don't wait for a training on something I need to learn about. So if you are like frozen when we talked about stories today, go on YouTube and type in like how to do Instagram stories if you like legit don't know anything. And then if you do know a little bit, like how to do stories for business, or how to do stories to get interaction, type that stuff in on YouTube. People have like these crazy successful YouTube channels that are literally there just to educate you. YouTube is awesome. Okay. What was the homework for stories? Oh, I want you guys to like pick a product. This was one of the tasks, but you probably didn't finish. Pick a product that you love. And I want you to like, if this is a little advanced, you don't have to do this first part, but if you want to, like maybe it's the Calm. You could do a few stories about just talking about stress and anxiety. Like Google it, learn about it. What percentage of the population suffers from it? Grab some fun graphics that you find. Then educate on Calm. Like, what is Calm? Why do you love Calm? Why is Calm awesome? Like, what benefits can it do for people? And then go into our community group and snag some testimonies about Calm. And then after you've educated on stress and anxiety, you've talked about Calm, then put in several testimonies that validate what you just said. Make sure that there is at least one poll, some type of interaction. Otherwise, people will just click through and be like, oh, how cool. They might not actually DM you. But if you have a poll on there, like, okay, who, like, after seeing all this, who needs like more deets on Calm? And then like they can answer the poll, and then just remember to check your poll results, because otherwise you'll never know who actually inquired. So that was like sort of like the advanced, like try to get that up like later today or tomorrow to keep things pumping in your stories. And then remember, if they are interested, instead of trying to educate them one-on-one, you can just plug them into the community group and tag them, because that will be very powerful. Okay. All right, you guys, awesome work. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you check events in Collaboration, because the events tab are going to tell you what times these power hours are. I'm trying to like flip-flop times for people just to try to help out. Okay. Awesome work, guys. Talk to you guys later.